Hello Destiny fans, this is Mediocre Guardian here, and today I will be discussing the mysterious sea creature on the planet Titan. Some of you may have already witnessed the creature cresting over the waves, or its shadow during the strike, or the CPU computer mission. There's also a scannable object on Titan that detects something large lurking below the facility. So what is this creature? Is it an Amakara? A random sea creature that lives on Titan? Possibly a hive creature? Well, I believe it to be a worm god of the hive, specifically Oryx's worm. Here is my theory. Zavala chooses Titan as a rendezvous point for all remaining guardians and allies of the light. When he arrives, he realizes this was a bad decision because of heavy hive presence. Why didn't he know about the hive? Well, the likely reason is because the hive infestation on Titan is relatively recent. At the end of Destiny 1, humanity is stronger than it has been in a long time. Our reach has extended back into our neighboring planets, and major defeats have been handed to every enemy faction in our solar system. I believe it was likely that Zavala, as leader of the Vanguard, would have had a pretty good idea what planets or moons would be safest to evacuate to in case of an emergency. So what brought the hive to Titan so suddenly? Well, I believe it is because Titan is the final resting place of Oryx's body and the massive worm that resided within him. When we as Guardians defeated Oryx in the Taken King, we defeated him on the Dreadnought in his true form. His massive body then floated off into space, right in the middle of Saturn's rings, where it could have possibly crashed onto the moon Titan. Now, could Oryx's worm survive his death? Well, in Destiny 2, when we defeat the hive, they sometimes drop the worm inside them, and it continues to live for a short time. These worms, though, are all tiny and lack much power. But Oryx's worm is one of the oldest in existence and has fed off the death and destruction wreaked by the hive for centuries. It would make sense that Oryx's worm is not only the largest hive symbiote in existence, but also the most powerful. As the hive viewed Oryx as a god, so too would they view his worm as something to be worshipped. Oryx's body was still intact after his death, which is unusual because most hive turn to dust upon death. I believe that Oryx's worm survived his death and eventually came to land on Titan, where its powerful presence has drawn other hive. The sea serpent seen on Titan even looks similar to the hive worms that drop from enemies, with spikes on its back and a pronged two-piece tail. Now, it has no other leg or fin appendages, so it looks more like a worm than another sea creature. Now, you could ask, can a hive worm survive within the methane ocean of Titan? Well, the hive homeworld, the Fundament, detailed in the Book of Sorrows, was a Jovian gas planet, covered in, well, you guessed it, a sea of gas. So actually, it would be that Titan is the perfect environment for a hive worm to survive or even thrive. It is similar to the world that they were trapped on for centuries. Finally, my last point. I believe this is why Oryx's sister, Savathun, is trying to manifest herself on Titan instead of, say, the moon, a more secure hive stronghold in our solar system. In the Destiny 1 lore, Oryx was the only one to slay a worm god. This is all in the Book of Sorrows still, but there were 5 worm guards that communed with the darkness and gifted eternal life to the hive. Oryx chose to slay one of those 5 worms named Akka so that he could directly commune with the darkness himself and learn the ability to create the Taken, and that is how he gained the title the Taken King. Another interesting fact, he built the Dreadnought from the dead worm god Akka's body. So in story missions, scannables, and adventures, we see Savathun's name and machinations constantly reappearing. She is trying to create a portal to reach our world. She also appears to have some influence on the Taken. So this means that either Savathun has killed a worm god like Oryx, or seeks to acquire the power herself, likely from the worm on Titan. Anyway, Guardians, I hope you enjoyed my theory that it is in fact Oryx's worm that is residing on Titan. I will be creating a future video with further details into what Savathun is up to. But I cannot wait to see this subplot continued in further expansions. I mean, will Savathun arrive to slay Oryx's worm? Will she commandeer the dreadnought? Or will we ourselves be faced with taking down the colossal beast that lurks below? Let me know what you think in the comments section below, and as always, this is Mediocre Guardian, signing off.